Sandblasted. Needs a little bit of cleanup for the rusty stuff, but pretty good shape. And this is my next thing that I got to tackle. This is the steering. I'm going to throw that in the sandblaster too. Just redo it. I do have a broken bolt that I will have to attend with. You can't get this apart. I'm not going to try, so I'm probably going to have to either tap that and then put a little weld around it. Push in. Going the wrong way.
It's not the socket you're ripping out, is it?
I don't think so, because the light bulb looks like it pushes. That's the end of the light bulb there, right?
Oh.
You can pull it. Oh, got it. I just noticed that this is supposed to have ears for your license plate. Shucks. If I do this as a moped, I won't need those. Maybe I'll grind that down. Looking through my parts that I got red plastics. They're not perfect. The other one I have, I got it upstairs in the barn, but what I've done is scuff this up a little bit. And the guys at the auto store were telling me to use adhesion promoter for plastics. And then I'll use my filler primer to fill it in and make it look nice. Hopefully fill in the cracks. I'll seal it and then I'll put my white paint on it. This guy, well, this is what was on it, but clearly it's no good. And I had another one of these from the guy, but it is kind of trashed. It does have the good symbol, which I'm going to try to take off and use, hopefully. But I have this one here, which is in much better shape overall, but it is a little goofy and scuffed up down here. I will sand out and hopefully just prime. I think maybe I can make this look like something. That's the plan. Probably ought to be leaving it like that, I guess. So on this too, these ears are missing, but there are ears on this one. They're not in great shape either. I'm considering trying to take these off, maybe put some metal wires, heat them, and sink them into the plastic and use a plastic primer or epoxy. This one's got cracks on the front. I can probably just fix this from the back side. You can kind of see that the plastic is very stressed. So I'm going to try my best to repair that. Worst cases, I'll just have to buy one. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I just did something that seemed to work. So what I did is I took, I got stainless steel wire that's galvanized and heated it up with the torch, melted it in there and just gave it a little squeeze. It's on it here. Just twisted it and put a little loop in the end. And then that will give me something to hold on to push it into the plastic. push it into the... Uh-oh. It's hot. Duh. I'll try a little bit different pattern this time to go over that hole. Hot. Can't hold it still. It ain't pretty, but we'll see what happens. I think that's going to work. I'll put some plastic epoxy over that, and hopefully it'll be it. Time to get down on this. I got to get some pictures of all the wiring harness stuff just so I can remember how it goes together, and tear this all apart because this gets painted also. So I'm kind of surprised that's in gray. That's kind of strange. I haven't seen one in gray yet. We'll get her all cleaned up. Done. Time to start cleaning it up. It didn't take too long. Maybe 20 minutes. The one thing I noticed, well, this little booger was tough. I'm gonna have to square up those edges with the Dremel maybe. That way I can get it off again next time, but it's fine thread, which is taking forever. My arms are sore. And then I did notice, if you're doing this, it's hard to see, but I believe the bottom bearings are bigger than the upper bearings on the front. What do you call that? Triple clamp area? Anyhow, I'm going to be careful with that. And I thought I didn't have enough bearings on the bottom, but they were stuck on the race above it, so I'm glad I checked. And using a magnet to get that out is definitely a safe bet. I think next I'm going to tear this apart and make sure all that is kosher and start cleaning parts and painting. Get this thing back together. These look pretty complicated, but there's really not much to them. That's it. Pretty simple. I don't know why my spring's so loose. Might have to look into that, make sure that's correct. Anyhow, this just came out. Found it. I don't know if I can hold this. It's that guy right there. So it looks like the bottom of this just bottoms out into that rubber. And that bolt, that bottom bolt, this one right here is the one that holds it in. All right, came out like that. So that point is kind of, this point is pointing up, and the rubbery side goes inboard. Point up, rubber inboard. Got the wheel assembly all cleaned up. I basically had to sand some of the spokes, and then I had to end up just putting a little paint on them. Got all the bearings cleaned out and re-greased. They all seem good. The thing spins just fine. Oops. I can't see, but it's nice. Got that sandblasted and painted. I was going to powder coat it, but I thought it would just chip off, so I just painted it, and plus it would build up and not fit right. I did have to get a couple of bolts. Ugh, I got grease all over me now. Great. This is about what I started with, so I think I'm going to have to tear this one down and get it all cleaned up. It's free, which is good. This turns, bearing turns. So there's the shocks. I cleaned those up. You couldn't even see them before. They look really nice. I took them over to my son's house and vapor honed them just now. And I found a Kickstarter, which I didn't know I had, which is great because I bought one and it was too big. I've got these guys sandblasted. I'm thinking about powder coating. This gets painted white. And I might powder coat this guy in silver. What do we got here this morning? Oh yeah. Ooh. Got some chromed powder coated parts. Look pretty much okay. Inner part. Somebody made this for the bike. It's a battery holder. Not too worried about it. This. Oh, that looks great. A little light there, but it's on the bottom. I don't see it. Cool. I'll do some black ones. I got my speedometer in there, and I was trying to mount these lights. I think I mentioned they weren't the correct lights, and what I found was they weren't the correct lights because when you stick them in, the back end was hitting the handlebar, and now I got it stuck in here pretty good. But I made these nylon shims to put in to keep that away, and I still ended up cutting the backside off a little bit of that to make clearance. I can't even get it on there now. At least one-handed I can't. You can see there's barely enough clearance there as there is. But then I'm finding out that the holes aren't lining up either. The thing I bought and isn't going to work is the kickstand, or not the kickstand, the Kickstarter. The parts I got for that were also, it's too big, and hopefully the air box works. I should try that and make sure it fits in the hole. I did go ahead and paint the top so it would match. It looks real nice. Hopefully it'll stay that way. And I also found out my carburetor isn't going to line up very well either, and I'm not quite sure what to do. I'm thinking about milling out and making these holes a little wider so it will fit, because they're not lining up. That fits the hole, but and the carburetor looks correct. I don't know. Got some parts painted. I got my thing on just to prove it. Getting my gun cleaned up right now. Let me switch the camera. I still got a lot to learn about painting, but a lot of it turned out pretty nice. I'll show you the good sides. And the ugly. I'll have to let it dry, sand that out. I got a little bit in there, and I guess I just didn't have it clean enough. So, and this guy, I don't know what, I keep getting fish eyes. I tried rubbing that down. I actually coated that well. I should have kept going. But I have a nice big run on this side because I was too close to my device holding it up, and I hit the gun and it stopped, and I just kept blasting paint. These guys turned out fantastic. So those are done. And the fender turned out real good. And that was looking beautiful until I got a big run on the side that I'm going to have to try to sand out. Overall, it's getting closer. That's the key.